You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
What up,
good?
y'all? I didn't mean to cut you there.
No, you good, brother.
I've been anticipating this episode for the longest because this episode is representative of something bigger we both been needing to do.
Yes, sir.
For some years.
Yes, sir.
But we get thrown in the fire, so we ain't always able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But now we here, and it's going to be a great show. Top of the evening, top of the morning, top of the night, wherever you may be, world. It's your man, J5TH.
Yes, sir.
T Mills, Trouble T Mills, Tyre Mills. What we going by today, man?
You know what? Usually when I'm on that camera, I got my nickname Mill Suave from somebody else.
Yeah,
on Instagram. Just so y'all know, I didn't make that shit up.
Yeah.
So, that's normally what I get called as a DP out there. So we can go by that, or we can go by Trouble T. Whatever y'all like today. I'm just excited, man.
Well, we ain't causing no trouble today, man. We dropping a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and expertise in something we do, man. Today's topic, we're gonna be talking about the director and the director of photography, also known as the DP or cinematographer. So we're going to be talking about the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the triumphs, the benefits, the pros and cons of the relationship between a director and a cinematographer, and or DP, and or better known as the director of photography, DP, all that great stuff. So, man, all you film heads, all you filmmakers, make sure you keep it locked, stay rocking with us, and we'll be back in a tick after the theme on the Patio PolitiCz. Let's get it.
We hope you stay a while, cause it's right for life, trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life, trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, yeah. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. I said it's right for life, come in with the shows that you like. We trying to be the best on the mic, DJ playing cuts that you like, yeah. It could be the start of your day, or maybe just the end of your night, But if you rock it with us, Patio PolitiCz is gonna do you right. Oh, cause it's right for life, trying to be part of your life. Yeah, we got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah, we hope you stay a while.
We hope you stay a while. We hope you stay a while, because if you don't, I'm going to come get you. Plain and simple like that, man.
Yeah. Welcome
back to the Patio PolitiCz. We here, we live, man, with my rider, with my brother, Tyre Mills Suave. We here, man. We live, man. So, y'all that's just now tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shout out to all our sponsors out there, man, for keeping us here and helping us pay these bills, or the bills paying us. Y'all know how it go. But, man, we got an interesting show, and we're going to be talking about the relationship, the pros and cons, and the importance of the director and the director of photography. So, just in brief, if, people are new or not so knowledgeable about the film game, I'm gonna break down what a director is, and T can briefly break down what a cinematographer is, or a director of photography. So a director is pretty much, you guys, he's like the head coach. He's like the leader who puts everything together and keep everything together on set, and he carries out the vision of the writer to be reality, to be what it is in real life. You know what I'm saying? He's a troubleshooter and basically the facilitator of the entire project of the film, whether it may be a commercial, whether it may be feature film, short film, documentary. You have to have a director to carry out the mission of your project, as well as a director of photography. You can't have one without the other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's a marriage. Each one need each other. You can't have one without the other, because you ain't gonna have no project.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, T, what is a cinematographer? Or a DP?
I was gonna say, you know what? In old school technical terms, a cinematographer and a DP are actually different.
Yes.
However, in today's term, and just to keep it simple for the audience, as a DP or cinematographer, essentially the director and cinematographer are almost like the point guard and the two guard.
Yes.
I won't say that a DP is so much the quarterback, because that is still the director's job, but as a DP, he facilitates basically as a director what the overall vision of the project is. My job is to create the visual of that vision. So what you see on screen, the picture, what it looks like is what my job is. A lot of people think that sounds pretty simple, and a lot of people think a director and a DP are the same thing, but a director has to worry about the overall production, whereas I worry about how the production looks. And the look is not just looking cool. The look is the language of the camera and how the language of the camera helps tell the story.
Yes.
And a lot of people who don't put the effort into understanding this, a lot of times they don't really understand the importance of a DP. They don't have one. Or they just kind of skimp on these things, and then you wonder why you have a deep story and it's not connecting with people because you're not giving people the lens to see the film through. People don't actually understand, like, when you're watching a film, you're being shown a perspective of looking at it.
Exactly.
That's why a bad guy is a bad guy. That's why the good guy looks like the good guy. The good guy is filmed entirely different
from the bad guy.
That's why you have movies now like Joker or you know, where the former bad guy is now the main character, and you're seeing the film through their eyes, which is telling you a total different story. Because if you watch the film called Joker, where this guy named Batman is constantly trying to stop him, it gives you an entire different perspective than what you've seen.
Exactly.
And so as a DP, just to give you more bullet points, it's more about, you know, the way that it looks, and the way that it looks is important in terms of how your mind takes in the film. Everything from colors. Color theory affects how we view things. Colors affect how we feel about things. How wide the angle of the camera is, how tight it is, affects different things. The angle you shoot at. Are you shooting up? Are you shooting down? A lot of people think that directors do this as well, which many of them do if they've been a DP. And I'll land the plane here. The reason why this is important is because in my experience, I don't know about you, Five, I've had many people approach me assuming that I was a director, which I did start off as. But they don't understand that they're two different things, and that when you have a director and a DP that work cohesively together well, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's almost like you'll have a 20-point lead the entire time.
And that's the thing too. Everybody think because a person get a camera or whatever the case, and you get a lens pack that's attached to your camera and you going out just shooting things, a lot of people think that's what makes them a director of photography, a cinematographer, and or director, or because a person is yelling action and cut, he thinks he's a director. And it's in both roles. It's more than just a title thing. You have to know. Now, within my experience in that, there were times, each role is very pivotal and important. And I feel like what you were saying too, the director has to know about color. He has to know about everything the director of photography knows about, and vice versa. The director of photographer has to know about everything that the director knows. They have to be in sync. It's a marriage. And you know, when things happen, they both have to come together to troubleshoot things, because it might be an instance where the director might have this plan A set, but actor may not show up, or it may be something with the location. Now the director has to troubleshoot this and go to the director of photography to make adjustments, because if the director of photography has a shot list, and the shot list, you guys, is just the planning of each shot that the director of photography is gonna get. If things may change with a location or actor because the director of photography had it just like this plan, and things go wrong, then they both have to collaborate to work it out. The shot list has to be modified and adjusted, and different things like that. So like I said, it's a marriage where both have to be on one accord. And you said something that was important. You said that you wouldn't really say that the director of photographer, is a quarterback. I'm gonna combat that and say he is, though. You get what I'm saying? Because the quarterback has to make audibles and adjustments on the fly.
That's true.
When they see the defense is in a different formation than what they studied. You get what I'm saying? And at that point, when that shifts, then the director becomes now the head coach.
That's true.
Or whatever the case may be. Because what the quarterback may be seeing on the field may be different from what the head coach or the director seeing on the side of the field.
Right.
It's different, like, perspectives and different viewpoints from it.
Right.
But all in all, I know one thing we can agree with, that both need each other to have a successful part.
I want to speak to the fact too that just to give people more perspective who are filmmakers out there and maybe haven't considered, because I'll put it this way. I know a lot of people who want to make films, and so they just think automatically jumping into directing. So I'm gonna assume maybe they don't have a DP. The reason why you need a DP, and here's where this works with us.
Yeah.
Many people may not know, but like out the gate, he trusted me with a feature film. I had barely finished a film of my own that I didn't get to finish because the lead, my frat brother in it, was killed. And I just was like, hey man, I just want to come and like be a cameraman and learn some stuff around you guys. And then he just threw me in the fire, but not in the fire, but he threw me in.
Yeah, it was your rookie year
in the mix.
Well,
yeah,
I like to call your rookie season.
Yeah, start just like franchise player starting guard.
Yeah.
And one thing, if you hear us use a lot of sports analogies, it's because we both were athletes. We both understand.
And they go hand in hand. When y'all really look at it, those that are sports heads, y'all catch on to our lingo. But like he was saying, we use a lot of sports references and metaphors because we're former athletes.
Yeah.
And everything. And in hindsight, it goes right with the film stuff. I mean, we have plays
literally on the arm.
On the arm, like a quarterback, a whole team do. So we own it like that. Like it's real hand in hand.
Funny thing is, to be honest, y'all, if anybody who's filmed with us probably in the last 2 years.
Yep.
If you've seen me with that big old wristband, he got that for me. We got that from football, how players quarterbacks go around with the players on their arm. So I have shot list there, but also too, just like how in sports they review game film, a lot of times all day long we can be swapping references. And because the other thing too is people don't understand, you as a director, a lot of people, if you're directing, a lot of people have seen a movie and they want to make something and they don't understand why it's working or why it's effective.
Exactly.
That's why one of the classes I teach is called Being Effective. They don't understand why it's effective. They just think it looks cool. And so if you come up with this idea, man, I want to shoot this scene like this where, he knocks him out here and then, he gets on the ground and does this and this and this. And I'm like, all right, well, you don't just film that from the side.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, what you do, I appreciate that a lot of other directors I've worked with haven't, is not only you got to know what you want, but you got to come to me with the idea of what you're going for.
Yes.
So that I can help you further see, like, all right, well, you know what? You also can do it this way.
Yeah.
You also can do it that way. Well, you know what? If we catch him coming in this way, and then we get in for a close up here, it's gonna give that punch to the audience. It's gonna have people on their seat here. Like really, I take the vision that he's going for and see how I can enhance it with the language of the camera.
Exactly.
And it sounds like something that people can skip on because a lot of people have tried. A lot of directors attempt to be their own DP.
Yeah.
But when you have other things going on, like really that mess only works if you're doing like a short or something where there's like two people in the scene and you can stand behind the camera.
And the shots are less complicated than, you're right.
But we're always like for instance, something that we do a lot and we're going to get to later in the show, it's called dancing. And a lot of people have heard us say this on set.
We gonna dance.
People have laughed at us for it, but they don't understand when you see some of the shots we pull off, what's actually going on behind that screen of what you're seeing on TV.
A dance.
It's a dance.
It's a dance. We choreograph the dance,
literally,
and we move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a great director, right? You have to have great communication skills. You gotta have a great understanding. You can't be a control freak, and you gotta learn to compromise. Because in a lot of instances, you may want a shot this way, but if your budget is not gonna allow it, you're not gonna be able to have that shot. So you have to be able to communicate that with the DP. He got to communicate with that with you, and it has to be a compromise where is both nobody's clashing, nobody's upset about the type of shot that you have to get, and it doesn't fuck up the integrity of the film, man.
Yeah,
you got to have great communication skills, and I like to call in today's terminology, we often refer to the DPs as shooters. You don't want to fuck up the shooter. I say it's like the DPs are like snipers. You don't want to interrupt the shot, because if it's only one shot to get because you press for time, you don't want to fuck that up and he misses his mark or misses a hit because you're trying to overbear him or control him. And as a director, you got to trust your DP, because if you don't trust the shots he's getting or trust him, he's not going to be able to trust himself, especially with you over his shoulder. So that all comes from great communication, team building, teamwork, and having an understanding with each other. Like I said, those things are hand in hand with having a real marriage. You got to know how to communicate and got to talk. And when this ain't working, not pouting and say, well, it's your fault and all that. if you're a director, everything falls on you. Even shit that doesn't, it all falls on you because you're spearheading the project. You get what I'm saying? More to unpack on. Don't go nowhere. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in a tick on the Patio PolitiCz. Don't go nowhere, y'all.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
Yeah.
We back. So before we went on break, I was just letting everybody know, you feel me, like the director and DP relationship is so essential.
Yeah.
You know, being on one accord, being in alignment with each other. It's more like say for example, me and his relationship, I often like to compare it to Spike Lee and Ernest Dickerson. When you look at the work they did between Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, man, when you see a perfect picture, I always like to say it's because the director of photography and the director were in perfect alignment to be able to get these particular shots.
Yeah.
They have to be. You get what I'm saying? It is the director's job to oversee everything and mainly make sure the actors are delivering, and it's the DP's job to make sure everything that the actors are giving looks great and looks good, because you guys are directors within yourself.
Yeah.
That's why y'all have different camera operators.
Yeah.
You guys have to direct them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what?
Go ahead.
Not to even cut you
No,
there.
go ahead.
Something that I was gonna mention too, I didn't mention earlier too, is because one of the things I teach on is that people don't understand that cameras speak language.
Yeah.
So we are a lot of times a translator for y'all, because I've noticed too, and even other DPs, this is why like it frustrates me sometimes when I want to get around other DPs and milk them for ideas, and a lot of them are like, they're really just directors who've picked up cameras, like you said.
Yeah.
Not saying,
And a lot of them ain't even that. Directors.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
yeah.
people with titles that are not doing the job.
because my thing is this, like so where I grew as a DP is when you get excited and you learn that all the things you can do. Because we always use sports references. He's a Laker fan. I'm a Warrior fan. He says, Shaq and Kobe. I say Steph and Clay.
I say Magic and Kareem too. Shit.
Yeah. Okay. We can settle on that, Magic and Kareem. But the way I also look at that is like, I look at myself as also being able to work off the ball. So when I say that, I mean like as a DP, I study the language of cameras so much, and I compare it to the skills. I'm like, you know what? I can hit the fadeaway.
Yep.
I can hit the elbow. I can hit the corner. I can hit the top. I can hit the mid range. I can teardrop. I can go off the glass.
Yep.
And I look at it that way, not to just say I got all these cool tricks and I can go for 50 like James Harden. That's early on. I feel like I was looking at it like that, like, man, I just want to get all these cool shots. You don't know what you're talking about, until I had to mature into the idea that, okay, I know what he does works, and I know the vision that he's going for. So let me apply what is appropriate at this time.
Yeah.
And still know in the back of my mind, in case he hits me up and be like, hey, T, you think we can get that one shot? Hey, no problem, man. Let's get it. And I think we're talking about this now. A lot of people, you have to see this in real time, how it works.
Yeah.
But it's like, when I say it's like being a translator, same thing. If how many times have we been pressed for time on set, and we've been like, we reverted back to our secret weapon, which is the one shot.
Yeah, all the time.
All
the time.
It's like, hey, T, you think we'd be able to capture this in a one shot? And so then we get together and we're like, all right, you know what? Instead of shooting here and here, let's bring them both there. And
yeah, I feel our most perfect shoot days were the days that we planned less for.
Yeah.
Opposed to the ones where we over prepare for the game.
Yeah.
And then we're pressed for time. Now we gotta do the
it's
off the ball shit.
It's like beating yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
When you over prepare so much and the other team ain't even forcing turnovers, you turning the ball over because you're playing so tight.
Exactly. And the ones that we feel are going to be the more complicated one, well, we kind of, I ain't gonna say prepare less, but just prepare a little lighter than what we would on a heavier day.
Yeah.
And where we think we're gonna be pressed, if we're guerrilla shooting, nothing happens. All glory to God. Like we those be the less complicated days.
Yeah.
So you would think if we out in public and we gonna be pressed because of sound, because of traffic, because of people interrupting us, or the police coming because we guerrilla shooting, those be the most less complicated days where we like, damn, we finished, we still got enough time to get extra stuff.
Yeah.
And where we're able to. So that's how it be a lot of times.
And I want to speak to that as well, because our growth over time, when I've sat back, like we've had several meetings where I sat back and I was like, dang, you know what? Sometimes I don't take enough time to actually sit back and watch our own movies we made as a passive consumer without critiquing it
exactly
for everything we did. And I look at stuff and I'm like, wow, we pulled all that off. And people don't know, like, this is why the relationship is so important, because we've shot in the scorching desert.
Man.
It was what, 128?
Yep, shot in the rain.
At one time, I had sunburns on my back, had this big old heavy vest on. We shot in the rain many times.
Yeah.
I think every project we've shot in the rain at some point.
Yep.
We done shot in some dangerous places. Where, unscrupulous characters around us.
We shot in the trenches. We always shooting in the trenches.
Yeah.
Always.
We been right in front of the police, in front of the police station. We didn't had some shit happen in the middle of the streets before.
Yeah.
While we were shooting, and I'm standing there the whole time, and I got equipment everywhere. And sometimes it's literally like playing in front of 20,000 people when, jobs will come up. Hey, T, you got one shot, man. And that's what I mean is in the sense of maturing in this, because your stars don't run from moments like that. They embrace moments like that.
We embrace it. Yeah.
And early on, when I first started, when he just threw me in, I think probably you being a coach, people don't realize those little kind of things are what actually help build players, because it's like the fact that you had a confidence in somebody to just throw them in there. And I was like, because I fucked up and made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You're not going to make every shot. And we mean like in the sports analogy and even in film analogy.
Yeah.
You're not going to make every shot, but I trusted you enough to shoot the ball or to shoot the shot. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knowing, and that takes faith. And shout out to Chris, our brother CT. Shout out to CT.
Shout out to CT.
Because CT brought it up too. Like, man, why don't you see about him shooting? That's why I'm like, damn, okay. And I was thinking like, man, it's going to be a heavy film. But I got faith in him because I already was paying attention to your work ethic. And my discernment was like, yeah, he going to do it. So, you got to have all that, man, as a director. You got to trust the shooter. And if he say he going to get the shot, do it. And even too, help him navigate through it. And the only way I was able to show you certain things and techniques, because I never had the desire to be a DP or to touch a camera. However, there were instances where prior films to you coming to the R, a few times camera guys I had just left the camera with me because they had work. So I had to pick up the camera and shoot and everything. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
shoot it the exact way that I seen it in my references or from prior films that I seen. So I understand the whole director photography, attempting to do both.
Yeah.
I feel like a person should just do one role and hire the other person to do that, so you can focus particularly on this, not try to be boom guy, DP, and then be director.
Yes.
Because some's gonna take more than the other, which it always do.
Or you're gonna make mistakes because you're gonna be attempting to do too much. So it's funny.
Man.
Exactly how you said that happened. That's how I became a DP.
Yeah.
I started because I wanted to make my own film. I didn't realize that it took so much. I was attempting to do everything. I thought, and so it's funny because when someone else asked me how I became a DP, I was like, I didn't know what a DP was.
Yeah.
I thought a director was a DP because you know what? Christopher Nolan, he still gets behind the camera.
Yeah.
Spielberg will still get behind the camera. You have a lot of directors who will still pick up the camera. And as a DP, I actually appreciate that, because one thing that some other directors do that really just irks me to my core. You come across a lot of people who are former actors who now want to direct. Or people who have never been outside their own box of the role.
Man,
it's kind of like if you were in football and you played nothing but kicker your whole life, and now it's
you trying to play quarterback.
Now you trying to play quarterback.
Yeah, nah.
It's like, look, you were on the football team.
Yeah,
but you don't get hit.
Yeah, you don't get hit, so you don't know.
Or I want to play corner, and it's like, hey, look, your mindset is not. And so, one thing I can say I appreciate too, as a DP and you directing, that those of y'all out there who are looking to get a DP, I need somebody who can give me a vision, even if it ain't much.
Yeah,
something. Because if you notice, some of the roadblocks that other filmmakers be talking about they run into, I don't understand, because I'm like, we've shot in expensive places. We didn't shot in the streets where the homeless people piss. I mean, and my thing is, I work with what I'm given, and I think that way. A lot of other DPs don't. A lot of other DPs are like, if I don't have all this expensive $50,000 worth of equipment and a sound stage, then my work is compromised and I can't.
Oh, they fleecing people. Y'all out here fleecing people, man.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'm just like, you know what? A good director has a vision, so there's something I can say, okay, I can take this thing and how can we enhance it? Yeah, how can we
exactly?
You know what we can do? We can go from here to there, but I need something. A lot of times, the most frustrating thing as a DP is when a director hasn't. It's okay, stuff comes up that you may not have considered. Yeah, but they don't have their vision all the way complete, and then you end up kind of doing it for them, and then because they don't understand the language of cameras and everything, it's like, look, I need you to speak in English to me so I can translate it to the viewers this way. But if you don't know what you're saying,
then you can't translate it. A lot of that too comes from, like I said, people just, they think because they get a camera, now I'm a DP now because I shot a short film. Same thing with director. I done shot 4 short films. I'm a director now. Like, this shit is really work. You have to do the groundwork. You have to do the studying and the labor, and have to pay your dues, even pay dues to yourself before you start giving yourself those titles of calling yourself a director or director of photography. A lot of people think too, because they win awards on their first swing, that now I'm this super director, now I'm the super director of photography. Or if they shit get on streaming platforms, now they think they're that, and it's like, whoa, chill out. You still got to humble yourself. It's still work to do. I always like to tell people it took me 10 years to become a director, to call myself that, because I had to do a lot of study. I had to take myself through, this was before YouTube, Barnes & Noble, Borders University, where I used to go in there and read about a director, and then going to the crib and spending endless hours watching documentaries of films, seeing the mannerisms, the characteristics of a director, and seeing how they embody that role. You know what I'm saying? A director has to know each and every role that's on the court. So that's why I say, I use that analogy with the Lakers, Magic Johnson and Kareem, because when Kareem got hurt, Magic had to play the 5. His rookie year, he won Rookie of the Year. They won a title, and he won title MVP because he had to fill in for Kareem. Now, there's no point guard in the history of basketball that has done that. You talking about this was Kareem was at the height of his career, got injured. And Magic had to come in and be a .5. You know what I'm saying? A point center.
You know what? On the sports analogies, the other reason I say Steph and Clay too is not just because I'm a Warriors fan. There's another component to that I learned as a more veteran DP now. Where in the beginning, mine was all over the place, and I was like, all right, let me just run here and score. Let me run here so I can shoot. When you become a seasoned DP, and when you have a seasoned DP that you were used to working with, the beauty of it is you start to learn each other's tendencies, like veteran ball players do.
Exactly.
So you may not realize it, but there are times when I can tell when you got a lot on your plate or when something has come up. I know for years you've been like, you put the mask on, but there's times when I think ahead and I already anticipate. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? It's supposed to be a 10-hour day. We got 4 scenes to shoot. And I'm like, we're supposed to be on halfway through scene 2 right now. We're barely still finishing 1. He's probably going to try to compromise or he's probably going to cut this one down. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can win us some time back if I can set this up as a one shot. Or you know what? Maybe if we shoot it over there, we already have light coming from this direction. So we don't have to spend that much time setting up. A lot of times, that's what I meant earlier when I said learning how to play off the ball. Like Steph gives up the ball, and he runs around. So defenders will chase him, which a lot of times leaves Clay open, which is my way of kind of like, okay, you know what? Now I can free him up where he can still go back to being creative, and it's not we just got to manage time now, and I got attitudes and all this. It's like, well, you know what? Or there are times when I can make a judgment call now because I know him well enough that I can say, hey, 5, we don't need 2 shots of this, man. We can get it in 1. And he'll a lot of times ask me, hey, was that it? I'm like, that was it, brother. And we can move on. And so it's about being able to then know your teammates well enough to know how to put them in position to score, even when you the one when you're the scorer, learning how to still get the team to score when you don't have the ball.
Exactly. Hold on, we're gonna expand on that. We're gonna come back to that. Hey, y'all keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back in a tick on the Patio PolitiCz. Keep it locked. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
A culmination of powerful properties that create balance and produce good energy. Cultivating a culture of mindfulness is a daily battle. We target your inner me. Physiological effects, change you can truly feel. Aesthetically pleasing on the surface, but handmade to help you heal.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
Man, I hope and pray that y'all learning something, man, because we gonna expand on some more stuff and everything, because it's a lot to unpack. One thing you said before we went on break, that was so pivotal, because I want to speak to the directors or the the people who want to become directors and DPs, is how you said sometimes you can tell when I be overwhelmed. That nobody can tell, because y'all might think that. And the reason I say that, with me, right, as a director, you always got to maintain and master your poker face, because on set, everybody is paying attention to you.
That's true.
Everybody's paying attention to you. They paying attention when you come in the room. They pay attention when you picking paper off the ground. They pay attention to every single thing that you're doing, because a lot of people think or have this thing in their mind or perception that when the director come in the room, it's like the teacher walking in the classroom or the principal. So it's like,
facts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I hate for my production, speaking, to be so tense like that. I like people to be loose, because I feel the more loose you are, the more comfortable you're going to be in your role and everything. So a lot of times when shit be hectic and chaotic, I don't bring it to y'all. Y'all don't know.
Yeah.
Because if the director's overwhelmed, then that means the team is going to be overwhelmed, because everybody is looking for the director to troubleshoot things and to problem solve everything. So as a problem solver, you always have to maintain your poker face and not be overwhelmed. And I tell people, working on breathing, meditation, praying, taking time out to yourself, having like a 5 or 10 minute time out just to gather your thoughts and everything. Because again, people think that because they your action cut and bossing people around, that's directing, and that's not.
That's the TV shit, the Hollywood shit that people show you. And
it's not that. It's so much more to directing. Sometimes you have to be therapists. Sometimes you have to. It's a lot of things that come with that role that a lot of people don't understand. And you know, it may be you might have a producer on set who may become overwhelmed. You may have your assistant director be overwhelmed. Some instances, maybe the DP, because everybody else is overwhelmed and everything.
Let's talk about let's talk about a real event we had.
Yeah.
I was completely overwhelmed. We had to shut the shoot day down.
Which one?
When I was
There's a lot of those we had to.
The back injury.
Right. Oh yeah.
All I remember was I heard in the background, we got an injury, and it was we weren't falling apart, but it was a challenging moment for many of us, and you had to have those moments as teams.
Oh yeah.
But
and I want you to address that after this. But we have these moments with us. I can't speak on every production. We had this moment with us because we're a very spiritual production crew and team, and I like to call Rider for Life Films a ministry, because in our work of doing this, in our labor, man, a lot of souls have been called because of our walk with God, you know, and our plight on set and how everybody feel that way. A lot of people have went from atheists to worshiping God based on them paying attention to our walk with God on set. So we're not just hit with bullshit in the world but we're hit with bullshit in the supernatural and spiritual realm as well. So you can go back to that story so you can.
No, I mean, you know, just getting at it. I mean, so it was a long day.
12-hour day,
and it was longer than that.
Nah, it was 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seemed like it.
Yeah.
One scene we took many hours on, and it was
one scene,
the same take over and over and over again, and
okay. I'll take that back. It was a 16-hour.
I was gonna say it was a 16-hour day. That's from what I remember.
Yeah.
And it was I had the vest on. That goes into how I matured as a DP too, learning that I don't need to use everything all at once, all the same time, because I had so much weight on my back, man.
Not only that, you was doing lighting that day. So you're talking about another role that's a very pivotal role in filmmaking. He did lighting first, then had to jump back into his DP bag.
DP, yeah. And then I'll say that basically what happened was I ended up having a back injury. My back just was jacked and gave out. I was in so much pain. I was laying face down on the floor. And
you threw up.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and I could not move from it. I was literally just turning around in circles because I could not get up. Physically not get up.
And this was out of nowhere. Like he ate and all that shit. And this was like we approaching maybe the 14th hour of the day. Mm-hmm. You know, so he was hydrated and had food because we ate lunch earlier that day.
Yeah.
Back gave out, puking, just was like sick out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And I just remember in that moment, you know, wanting to do what was best for the team in the sense of like, all right, let's do what we got to do to still make this be able to happen. You know, as a veteran, you got to look at, okay, if I'm feeling an injury, the game doesn't stop and the other team is still going to come down and try to destroy you. They're going to look at that, you know, and in our case, that's the enemy.
Yep.
So, you know, it was something that, you know, we always pray on our productions, and when stuff like that happened, it was a shocking moment for all of us. But at the same time, those are moments of growth too.
Yep.
Because I don't know if, you know, if prior to me, if you know, we've ever had that happen before.
Yeah, not that.
But you know, woke up the next morning and I figured it was a spiritual attack because I felt completely healed.
Yep.
We got back to filming, and it was like, okay, I don't know where this came from.
And in instances like that, like say for example, when somebody asked, or if somebody be like, okay, well, what did y'all do if y'all still got actors on set, lighting on set? What happens if that happens to my DP or cinematographer or camera op? They fall out and they're incapacitated or sick or ill. Then what to do? We have this term with us with Rider for Life Films. It's the next man up mentality, which is another sports analogy, because if a key player gets injured, you always got to have a reserve or somebody off the bench that's always ready for their number to be called to come right in the game, aka production, to come right on set and get the job done. So prior to his prior to his short-term injury that day, he had already showed me different things on the camera. Directors do this. So I'm like, okay, man, show me how to do this. Show me how to do that. He had already relished in the role of becoming a director of photography because of, you know, the other productions that we had done together. And we already knew each other's, you know, ways and the fundamentals of how we work together and all that, which we don't clash. We're not going to be arguing on set or none of that. We had disagreements here and there, but it ain't disagreements to where he like fuck Jay and I'm like fuck T. It's never been that. So we agree to disagree. And oftentimes with that, if we can have enough time, I'm like, shit, shoot to your hardest content. That's the type of director I am. We're going to have fun now. We up by 30 or 40 points. Now it's time to ball all out.
Yeah.
So when he couldn't get up and was out for the count, we still had actors on set. Lighting was up and we still was in the middle of that scene and it had to be completed. So I had to pick up the camera and DP at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't the easiest thing for me, but we had to do it because you can't just wrap set and be like, nah, we had the location locked down. The lighting was perfect, everything. And then our actors were heating up already.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a 6-man mentality. It's kind of like if you deep into the playoffs, you know, and one of your key players gets injured, you can't just be like, oh, damn, the whole year is a loss. Now. And it's more like, okay, like, I come to set all the time, anticipating, not the worst, but anticipating I might have to do X, Y, Z today.
Yep.
You know, but I know how to, I'm always thinking, I mean, you know, in my case, I play baseball. They say that's the biggest thinking man sport where everything changes only situationally. And you think in terms of, okay, you know what? I may get to shoot to my heart's content today, or I may only have 2 shots.
Yeah.
Or I may have to, you know, if something happens to somebody else.
Yep.
I gotta be my own slate.
Gotta be your own.
There are a lot, and then where the real trust comes in. This is why you have to nurture a relationship with a DP. getting to the point where you tell me, I trust you, T. Or,
Yeah.
You see the shot, T? All right, you got it? Cool.
Yep.
And we move
And
right
let 'em
along.
be, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it's only one shot. And nowadays I have even the confidence, because we used to get safeties
Yep.
with everything, and we don't even use safeties as much anymore, and it saves us boatloads of time.
Now, for those that are wondering what safety is, it's an extra take that you get. A take is like them doing the actual scene. So it's another take of them doing the scene, but while they hot, and it's me saying, okay, we're gonna get a safety to the crew, but I'm telling the production, like, hey, I'm telling the actors, go all out on this one. Just be free. Don't think of the lines, don't think of the script. Just be free and do it, because that might be the money shot that we're gonna insert into the film, and the actors feel more free. Like, okay, now I don't have no perimeters. Now I'm out the box. Now I can maybe add some improv. Now the actors are talking with each other to say, hey, I'm gonna do this. Go with this, and they both now they like, okay, now it's fun. It's a fun take, but a lot of times we don't need it, and sometimes I don't even tell the actors, where I could just be like, all right, T, this is X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and then let me go talk to the actors. I'm telling T one thing, gonna tell the actors a different thing. So where the actors may feel it's a safety, or that last take, it's a safety for us, meaning the last take.
Yeah.
And it might be just their first shot.
Yeah.
But it's them feeling more loose and free to become themselves and everything. And I think we do a great job at that, making them feel comfortable. Yeah. One thing, people got to understand and understand about, production in whatever capacity that you may be in. Say if you're an actor, if you're a director, photography and a director, the actors, man, they're paying attention to everything. They're very observant. So if they see strife behind the camera, it's gonna
them out.
Yeah, it's gonna stress them out. And a good director is gonna catch that shit and come over and say, "Hey, what's on your mind?" and all that. Yeah. Oh well, I seen you two going back and forth, and you guys are scratching your head. Was it something I did and everything? So what we like to do is keep our actors busy, and everything. If there is something that we need to troubleshoot, we do it away from the actors, away. So if we say, "All right, cut, let's take 5," the assistant director or the PA, the production assistant, take the actors off and have them working on their lines to keep them hot. Yeah, it's like going to your corner as a boxer and you getting massage and putting the oil on. The Vaseline on, and your cut man is fixing that cut, and your coach is training you on what you need to do. While the director and the DP are on the side saying, okay, the lighting is off a little bit, or how we gonna work this? We only got 15 minutes. How many takes? Do. And they're troubleshooting. So when everybody come on set, it's a collaborative effort to make sure that shit is impactful and all that. And we like to always tell people, shoot every take like it's your final take.
Yes, that's important.
It's like YOLO, you only live once.
Yeah.
So shoot every take like it's your final take, and that gives us a better advantage behind the camera to get what we need to get done, so you can look beautiful and immaculate on camera.
And I also speak to the fact that I think a lot of times what actors appreciate that we just do naturally is because if you take the time out to nurture a good director DP relationship instead of trying to do everything by yourself, actors have seen how we work in sync well a lot of times, and they can just come in and freely work and because like I remember you used to always talk about, like, they nosy, they watching you, and
everything you do,
everything we do,
seen, because you had a chance to pay attention to it.
And they're like, oh, are you sure? Like to the point where they start questioning you. It's like, nah, we got this, trust. As a 1-2 punch, we got this. And sometimes, because the thing that I have to communicate to y'all a lot of times that sometimes people don't realize is our facial expressions. Well, you said you've mastered your poker face. My facial expressions do not match how I'm feeling a lot of times. So sometimes people will look at me and be like, why you got an attitude, or why you this and that way? I'm like, bro, I'm just in the zone, focused. And I'm like, if I was panicking, or if I was, one, you wouldn't know, like you said. But if if something was off, you wouldn't know to begin with. And 9 times out of 10, I'm just so locked in. But inside, I want to be like, hell yeah, we got that, But it's still like being composed. It's like, hey, look, the game ain't over, and we might be ahead, but we'll celebrate and pop champagne later at the rap party.
And one of our main jobs before we go into commercial break, because we're gonna expand on some more shit. But our job as a director of photography and director is to make sure that production goes great, and that all the actors look good on camera. Like, you look great on camera. That is our job, to make sure you're giving your greatest effort in acting and you're leaving it all on the camera. And for the director of photography to create that vision and make y'all look beautiful. That comes from the angles, everything. And we be so sharp and on point. We got to make sure, like, for the ladies, man, if you got a bad weave, we telling you, like, hey, fix it like this, or do, or you got your
hair out of your face.
Get your hair out your face, or, hey, make sure you turn towards the camera when you're doing this scene. Always turn your body inside towards the camera. It's in
the eyes, too.
Yeah.
You know,
everything.
The eyes, it's about, you know, emphasizing. There some people, just how they so sensitive about pictures and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look, we know what's gonna make you look best.
What's gonna make you look best? Yep.
We film you straight on, you look at your widest.
Yep.
So we're gonna put you in an angle that's gonna complement the way you look a lot of times.
Exactly.
I mean, because essentially what some people don't understand is, like, we ain't gonna let you look bad because that's our product.
That falls on us too.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
but I see often too, man, with a lot of productions that I've seen films, mainly on a particular network, somebody have makeup on their teeth.
Yeah.
Or they have, you know, like stuff on their face, so their weaves is off, and then
Lipstick
it's the bad
too far.
Yeah, bad angle. If a person got bad acne and they don't want it to be shown, never get a close up on it, because you got to have the actor be comfortable on set. If they're uncomfortable with what you're filming, and the director's like, "Nah, you look good," because they just want to get a shot, it's gonna show on camera.
Yeah.
And we never want our actors or actresses to look bad. We want y'all to look phenomenal. So that's what we push for. So, and we all are looking at different things. A director job is supposed to facilitate the court to make sure that everybody's job is easy and nobody's job is harder than the next. And if it is, that's when you as a director got to pull that person to the side and have a powwow, call the team together and say, hey, Whoop-de-Wop is doing more than what they need to do. Come on, you got to be on your job and everything. Because a lot of times when chaos it's like an eruption on set. Once chaos ensues, a lot of people start getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it affects the display on camera. It does, you know. So the director has to be on top of that shit. The assistant director has to be on top of that shit. Yeah. If it's a producer on the set, the producer has to be on top of that shit. So it's all these roles are pivotal, you know. The only reason we not speaking on the other roles because it's just the director and DP talk right now. But every role is essential, from the PAs, from the gaffers, from the grips, from the lighting, from the audio guy. Everybody plays an essential part on making this film everything. It's a collaborative effort and a team effort. Yeah. But we're going to talk more about it. Don't go nowhere. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be back. Yes, Patio PolitiCz.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
Yes, sir.
We back, y'all.
Yeah, chopping up big game, man.
Yeah.
Director of photography shit.
Yeah, man.
You know, I was gonna say, you know what's important too that we gotta address? The relationship between the director and the cinematographer, director of photography. We gotta talk about the courtship between them. And that's when the work in pre-production is done before production happens.
Facts.
Now that once the contract and the paperwork is signed or whatever the case may be, that's y'all marriage license. Now y'all married. But I believe before the courtship should happen, I like to meet with director of photographies that, you know, before we hire them, I like to sit and meet with them just to feel their spirit, just to have a better discernment and understanding of them, their character, their personality. I like asking them their likes and dislikes. Like, we have a whole, I wouldn't call it an interview process, because I want to see them as themselves.
Yeah.
Not like saying we go out and get drinks and we talk over the bar, because that's a whole different side of that, the DP.
Yeah.
But just sitting down, picking their brain, figuring out who their favorite directors are, their director of photography are, what makes you tick, what are your pet peeves on set, what do you like on set, what's your favorite drink on set, what don't you like on set, what irritates you. So that way before I bring them to the team, I already know their whole profile, and I'm able to come back to the team and say, hey, they like this particular type of coffee. Let's get this for them, you know, because they're coming to do a job, man. And you want them to feel, not coming on set feeling like it's a job, but feeling like they're living their dream and where they feel right at home, where they can fall right in place and pocket to feel like they're a part of your production and they've been knowing you, you know, their whole life. So that courtship is a very important thing. Sitting down, getting to pick the brain of the DP, and you guys can share what your likes and dislikes are on set, and getting to know each other. So that way, when you guys come on set, y'all like two peas in a pot, because I need to know if you like spinning off that pick and roll.
Yeah.
What side of the basket you like, so I can lob to you? Do you like lobs, or do you just like, you know, me facilitating, then you go off the pick and roll and shoot a 12-footer? Like, let me know.
Do you face up? Do you back
face
down?
up? Man, all that. You need to know his skill, his shot skill, and what, you know, all those different things. Because if you don't do this and y'all don't have a feel for each other, by the time y'all get on set, it's too late to try to get a feel for each other and understand each other's personalities and things of that nature. A lot of DPs I met, they're real quiet. They're real quiet. They be to themselves, and that's cool, you know. So I like to have people away from them, because a lot of them be introverts. Yeah. You know, and they be on their shit.
It is kind of an introverted position, though, because so like some of the times when y'all have even thought that I was like worried or in my head or something, it's because I'm thinking so much in terms of how this is going to look. Like, for instance, when we're in the middle of a take, the camera might be on somebody, but my mind is already, okay, the next shot is here, and that's going to connect here. He's probably going to edit it here. Yeah. So we're quiet because we're in our head a lot, not stressed, just thinking about, you know, it's all the looks. And then I said too earlier, like, when you get more seasoned, you want to help the rest of the crew be under as less of stress as possible too. Yeah. So there are times when I may want to go for a hero shot, but I'm like, nah, you know what, we've got this, or it'll take one time, and I'm like, okay, if we perceivably we were probably behind, so I'm like, you know, if we can nail this in one shot, I can save him 20 minutes. Yeah. Or I can save him another hour. Yeah. Or, you know what, I'm like, I don't think we need that, because at the end of the day, this is only gonna cut real quick. Yeah. You know, we have a lot of moments like that. Also, I'll say on the other side of that relationship, you said in the courting process too, pick a director that knows the vision that they want. They don't have to be Christopher Nolan and Spielberg, where you got all these elaborate, intricate.
They better be studying them, though.
They should be studying.
You get what I'm saying?
They should be studying them, but the idea is that, like, when somebody knows what they want, and then they're also open to how you translate it, because a lot of directors treat DPs like you just a random cameraman off the street, and that is the thing that annoys us, because it's like, what am I doing here? You should just hire somebody to just hold the camera. If you just want somebody
and just move it how you want.
If you just want a camera to stand on a tripod like that and just be a voyeur of the scene, then you don't need to hire me for that. Yeah. You know,
a lot of that too be from directors that are writers.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because say if you have a separate writer from the director is writing it this way, the director's saying, okay, you want everything shot to the T and all this, and the writer might be like, yeah. Or the writer might be cool enough to say, if this ain't gonna work, I trust that I'll give you wiggle room to fandangle this. And then the writer might say, hey, this scene needs to be shot exactly this way to get this message across, because in the later scene 20, if y'all shooting this scene 2 gotta match scene 20 for a specific reason, because it's impactful. So I need these words said to the T, and the director like, okay, boom, and have director gotta mark up. You gotta mark up that goddamn script like a Bible. Yes. DP too. You know?
Yes. And I well, because I was gonna say, if you want to elaborate about our experience on the council, the first council, and I'm like, people don't understand, like, doing that work. We love to go, I mean, at least me. Yeah. I love to go home with that kind of homework, because I'm like, okay, cool. I need to know everything that you see here, so that I can be like, okay, so he did consider that. Yeah. Or he did see that. All right, cool. And I'm like, now let me go and mark this up so that I can say, okay, hey, did you consider if we shot it here, you know, we can get this angle from him above now, or you know, or we can drone in and then cut here. And and if you don't know exactly what you're doing, it's kind of like, you can have all the dribble skills and all the skills in the world, if you don't have a playbook.
You don't know. You just all over the place.
If you don't know how to get your
like street ball.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
Literally.
It's all over the place.
And that's how I think we developed dancing.
Yeah. Well, not only that too. The dancing really came from me having to hold the boom and direct and you doing the camera work, because
Facts.
we got to be in sync. And sometimes audio people may just stand there in one position.
Yeah.
If the camera is panning or it's a follow shot or a moving shot that the director of photography is doing or the camera operator is doing, the operator, the boom operator or sound operator has to know, okay, if he's panning this way, I'm standing right here. I need to either pull back or push in with the boom, so to make sure that audio is cool.
Yes.
Everybody has to communicate.
Yes.
And that's what it ties down to. I done been on sets where people don't talk at all.
Yeah.
And then they get all these shots, and then you just had the audio do like there, right there, and then it'd be shots where I see the boom, and then I'm like, damn, like the director.
Nobody picked that up?
Nobody picked that up, and everybody has to pick it up.
Yeah.
Oftentimes too, we done been in situations where we made mistakes like that because everybody, even people behind the scenes, the PAs, the producers, the assistant directors, are so into the scene like consumers that they're not paying attention to the monitor to say, all right, boom, I gotta back up some, or okay, T is blurry right here, because everybody be so engulfed in the scene. And that ties down, I mean, we're I like to say we're highly sophisticated independent filmmakers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's us. That's us. So a lot of times we may not catch everything, but that's why we do the groundwork before production to make sure we catch everything.
Yeah.
We didn't have instances where we all be at each other's throat or something is happening. But once we take that time out, we got to break that huddle out that time out and be in alignment to understand this is for a greater cause than us. This ain't about us. So if somebody's in a emotion because somebody done said something like that, man, let's apologize. Let's put this shit out here while we got 30 seconds, and then let's break, leave it where it's at, and continue to do what God has called us to do.
Yes.
Because if we take that shit on set after that break, it's going to affect our actors.
Yep.
And we're spiritual, so they're going to feel the energy and feel the tension. Because you best believe out that break, they looking just like this.
They like, oh, man.
Are they watching us like hawks?
Yeah, it's like the other team watching you come out the huddle like, yeah, we got them now.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'll mention on that front too is that I've mentioned this even in classes I've taught before too, that people don't understand. Those timeouts are critical because your performance is critical, because once it's done, it's done.
It's done. Man,
I don't know how many times, for those out there who've made their own films, how many times have you been at a festival or been at a screening and you watched your work up there and you're constantly pulling your hair out inside like, man, if we only got one more shot. Man, that was in the way. Or, you know what? Dang, I was so mad at this person that day. That's why my face looked like this, or I didn't take time to do this and that and the other. And it's like, that's why I always be saying, I'm like, hey, look, get whatever we can while we're here. You can throw it away later. If you don't want to use it. And that's one of the key things I think as a DP is to make sure you give them the possibility to work with shots that they might not have perceived. Because there are times when people don't see that you can get them here. And they only seeing it here.
You're damn right. And then it's about too knowing your style. Knowing your style as a director of photography and as a director as well. You got to know your style. You got to have a style. You can't just be all over the place. And in order to identify your style, that's what doing the pre-work, the taking yourself to school, the paying your dues is doing. You got to watch the people ahead of you. I can't go out on the court and just try to be dribbling and shooting because I'm fast and I got ups and I can dunk and I don't have nobody's style I'm patterning my game off of. You have to study the people ahead of you to see, okay, I like how they shoot. I like the seriousness in their cinematography, or I love their directing style and all that. You're not going to know the directing style if you don't watch behind the scene information or your own set with the director to see it. You're not going to know.
You
get what I'm saying?
And it works for a reason.
Yes.
It says in the Bible too, there ain't nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
So with that being said, one thing that filmmakers get wrapped into a lot of times is, oh, that's a cliche, or I don't want to do that because that's been done X amount of times. It's like everything has been done.
Everything has been done. Yes, even in music.
Everything you see, that's everything you first see for the first time was copied off somebody else.
Exactly. And I like to tell people it's like hand in hand with music and film. If you take a sample that was a hit in the 70s or 80s and redo it today's time, if it was a hit then, it's going to be a hit now. It's going to be a hit now. Same thing with shooting. If it was a dope ass shot back then and it had people going crazy in the theaters and you guys duplicate it and shoot it right, it's going to have that same effect. And yes, shout out to the ones that are the originators of the songs and the shots, but everybody takes from somewhere. So you got to know your skills, because a lot of times when we link with a DP or the DP link with me, we gotta ask, what's your style? What's your game? What's your game and all that?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? What's your favorite genre to shoot? Because that's all important and pivotal when you're shooting with somebody. You have to know. You can't shoot a love story or a dramedy with a person that's been doing film for like horror films for 10 years. Your directing style and their cinematography style is gonna kind of clash, you know, because it's two different genres or whatever. Opposed to you pattern yourself off of this particular person and they pattern their game or they skill set after a particular person. You say, like, damn, okay, when they come together, they good. You can't put Luka and James Harden on the same team.
Or, well, okay, that would never work.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, or what you can do, especially, is when you are seasoned professionals, because that's what we are. What you can do is have a healthy respect for how each other does things.
Yes.
And you search for ways that you can cross over
and collaborate.
And collaborate that. Yeah. That's what a lot of people don't do that I see. Everybody is, well, I own an Ario Alexa and I own a Black Magic and
titles.
We're gonna do it this way.
Yeah, titles.
And it's like, it's one of them things where, hey, look, because for me, especially as a DP, even when I work with other directors, I'm like, look, I'm not here to make your film mine. I'm just attempting to show you what's also all possible to you that you don't recognize. And I can say, especially one thing I've learned from you is the dance alone was another version of trust that a lot of other people will never employ because they think it looks tacky. But for those who don't know, there are some shots you might have seen in some of our work where we're going all around the room and camera's going a lot of movement. And
everything's intentional. And
so what's really happening is if I'm here with the camera, like facing this way, he's right on my back behind me with the boom, and we're following the actors in front of us. And a lot of times we plan the shots out where it's like, okay, you know what? They have their conversation here. Then he walks over to the sink. He's going to pick up this and he's going to throw it there. So I'm going to whip this way. And it's like, all right, so where are you going to be?
And once you whip, I got to whip too. Go over. You get what I'm saying? It's a dance.
And then sometimes when we do the take, we see stuff in the take and it's like, all right, you know what? This time I'm going to kneel down and I'm going to aim up. So I'm like, how much room do you have? Because I'm going to give you room so I don't get the boom in the shot. Like, it's a real collaborative back and forth, and people have seen us execute this, and I've never come across anybody else on any other sets.
They be amazed, man. They be amazed, like, oh shit.
All the one shots we've done, every single time you've seen a long take one shot, it was a dance.
Yep. And then the thing too, what I would recommend before we close out, and then I'll let you have your closing statement too. But I feel like everybody that wants to get in film, whether you're a director, producer, director, photography, pick one primary role that you want to specialize in. Study that and master it. Then go on a few sets and do other roles as well. Especially if you're a director. That's going to make you compassionate towards everybody role and see that everybody has a challenging role that they do. From the gaffers to the PAs to the producer to everybody, the director of photography, the camera op, everybody has a challenging role. And if you, as a director, go do those roles, work the boom on a 12-hour day, be a PA for 1 12-hour day, be a camera operator, for one particular day. Do all these roles, a producer for one particular set day, so you can see and be like, damn, I'm glad I'm a director, or now I see. That's going to help you be able to coach these roles. I'm able to be all positions on the basketball court because I've done all positions and played all positions on the basketball court. And not just for 1 or 2 games, for a season. A season where I was a guard, season where I was a forward, season where I was a center. And I was able to see, identify, same with the football field. I played every position on the field from line. Only thing I didn't play was kicker, but everything else I played. Lineman, quarterback, guard, defensive tackle, defensive end, cornerback, safety, running back, fullback, all those positions. So I'm able to know the field in every position to know, like, man, it's not a such thing as an easy position in anything. Everybody has a role to play, and that's gonna make you compassionate. You can't just be action cut, get your ass over here, do this and that, yelling at the actors if you don't know what it's like to be an actor. They're gonna have anxiety, they're gonna have butterflies to be on set. So them first few takes may not be what you want at that moment, but if you go and be an actor on set and allow somebody to direct you, then you'll have a better understanding for these roles. Same thing with being a cameraman. You get what I'm saying? You'll be able to feel and see how heavy that shit is. Holding it a long, extensive takes where your arm is like Popeye after that shit. Same thing with the boom. You'll be able to see, like, it ain't easy as just holding a stick. You got to be mixing and
it's up here, it's up, and then you got to mix, and then it's up here. And
you have to communicate. You have to have a relationship with the director of photography or the camera op, so you making sure that you're not in a shot. There's a lot of times we deal with some boom operators, they don't talk at all. You know, and you got to kind of guide them. You're just here making money at that point. So you don't give a fuck if it look good or not. And the sound be bad. So I'm the type of director, I like, let me put your headphones on if I don't have none connected to your interface, and I want to hear the sound. Okay, this needs to be raised a little bit. Okay, I like to come over by the DP. Let me see what you looking at. Okay, boom, perfect. Then I like to go and be on the floor with the actors, not just sit on my ass and say action cut and send somebody to go pass the message. I like being on the floor with the actors. I like getting in the mud with them. You know what I'm saying? So you want to...
I would say too, a lot of what you said there can also be applied to you know, being a DP, but I think that worry about what the overall needs of the set are, not what you want to do. And it's kind of like when you watch Kobe late in his career, he knew he could get 40 whenever he wanted, but it was like, well, you know, if I get 40 and I don't get everybody else warmed up, they won't be ready in the fourth quarter when it's time. But also too, I take that as when I use the skill set example earlier, learning the skills enough to the point where you guys have seen me many times where, like, I can be filming and then also behind the camera, like, you come back this way, you know, like to the point where it's like being able to dribble the ball without looking down at it. So the point, so knowing how I can help everybody else through what I'm doing. And that's why I spoke on being able to play off the ball without the ball, knowing it inside and out. And sometimes stuff just comes up spontaneous. And be willing to just go with what's spontaneous, and then later don't judge yourself, because there's been times, man, I'm gonna just say it, even when it came to heart and soul, there were certain shots and I was eating myself alive for them for months, because I'm like, man, I can't believe I let that stand. But you got to look at what stage that you're at and what you're doing, and did you give it your all? You know, I mean, if you got the shot, you made the shot. Maybe it went in ugly and bounced and whatnot. But that's key. And work at understanding your teammates so that you can understand their tendencies, what they need. Look at the overall day.
What's their strengths and weaknesses too.
Don't go ahead of them, because like I said, there are times when I look at things and I'm like, all right, what can I do in my role that could help save us time? Or I'm like, you know what, maybe this room doesn't require this. And really remain a student. For real. Remain a student. I love
humility.
I love studying films still to this day. I love studying. He'll tell you, I send him stuff a lot of times. I'll be like, man, you got to check this out. Or before films, you know, and I don't want to get too long-winded here, but I was mentioning when it came to the council, we didn't get to break it down entirely, but remember when I brought you them stacks of papers? Whole stack of papers with all these different pictures that were showing how shots can go. And we, before films, we send each other nonstop references. You know, referencing what we've seen elsewhere, because really you're painting an entire canvas there.
Exactly.
And
you might like how this background is painted on this picture. And want to duplicate that and add it to your picture. You know, that's the thing of being, not to cut you off, independent filmmakers, is we get a blank canvas and we get to place everything where we want. No parameters, no restrictions, just unlimited pop, 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 pop. You get what I'm saying? No. I think that's key. Just remember that, and you know, just above all else, remain a student and do your best to prepare and know each other. And don't skip
on having a DP, and don't think you're just a director because you claim to be.
Man.
Learn what a director does.
Man, for real. Better know them roles.
Because I thought I wanted to be a director, and I actually do have aspirations to direct stuff in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that I was a DP by what I was actually doing because I didn't know what a DP was.
Yeah.
So a lot of people out there are doing roles that they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they want the title.
Yeah.
Because directors win awards and then your name goes up.
Exactly.
And people don't ask a lot of times about a DP, so some people don't want to do that.
Don't want to do that. Yeah. Every role is pivotal, and I'll close with saying this, man. Honor your role as you would want somebody you hire to honor theirs. That's it. Respect everybody on set as you would like to be respected. That's it. Give unto others as you want given to yourself.
Yeah.
It all ties to biblical, man, too. It always centers back to the source, and that's God, and that's that, man. Be kind, man, and understand that, you can't be an asshole on set. You can't just use these titles, because with entitlement or titles come great responsibility. And if you don't know what a director is, but you calling yourself that, you're going to get your file pulled on set by somebody who knows and worked with real directors before. And then you're going to be fucking up the whole integrity of the film. It takes a village. It takes a tribe to create a masterpiece. And, each day is going to be challenging on set. Each day is going to be challenging, but it's the preparation that you do to overcome them obstacles and challenges before production. That's pre-production. That's linking for rehearsals. Even I would recommend you and your crew get together, go do lunch, so that way y'all can identify personalities, weaknesses, and strengths, and y'all can play off those.
Practice with equipment.
Yep, practice with have days where y'all just go shoot shit and practice with equipment. Y'all have to. It's just like real life sports shit. It is. In real life, before you get married, like do counseling, marriage counseling. Mm-hmm. It may be shit that you find out in counseling because you guys are gonna get challenged, and them challenges are gonna occur. But marriage counseling is to show you these challenges and practice to prevent the different things from happening during these challenges. And so when things are carried out, y'all can execute each challenge. So man, do your homework, do your studying before you call yourself that. Whatever aspirations you have in filmmaking, man, make sure you just do the groundwork and put in work. All praises of God. Now it's YouTube University if you can't afford college, but you still got to put in the hours as if you're in an actual university in college. Put at least 4 hours in a day or an hour in per day to hone your skills and do your craft, and then start praying and manifesting that you get a great team of people that's like-minded like you to put it all together. And it's going to happen. Trust me and believe that. Trust me. So, yeah, man, we're going to have a part 2 of this soon.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, where it's more roles, producer, assistant directors, gaffers, lighting, all that shit, man, because we do it all. We're a team of 5, but we move like 300, like the movie.
Yeah.
So, man, make sure y'all keep it locked. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Please share this, man, and tell a friend to watch this. Man, we pray for y'all. We love y'all. Shout out to our sponsors. And yeah, man, until the next episode, it's Tyre Mills, a.k.a. Mill Suave, and your man J5TH.
Yes,
keep
sir.
it locked, man, and we out like this. We don't do trends, we trendsetters.